Hello, mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
Hello and welcome, guys, to episode number 97. We got three of our regulars today, me, Biter. We also have Ian.
Hello.
And Old Bob.
Hello.
Today we're going to be covering all the stuff on Mechwarrior Online, the events and sales, the MWO Comp Championship Series, the Hotfix, the patch, and all that good stuff. We'll also be covering Mechwarrior 5. It's being put up for pre-order on Epic Game Store, and some of the reactions involved in it. And then lastly, we're going to be touching on the Battletech Kickstarter, which has finished up recently. Right, starting off, shall we talk about the championship, MWO Comp Championship?
The challenges or the sale?
Maybe just first the actual championship itself, the gameplay.
Okay.
It's done through MWO's competitive stuff though, but as ever, we are not really that into competitive stuffness.
No.
What we have noticed though is, they linked Incoming Missile. If anyone is really into competitive stuff, they should check out Incoming Missile podcast. They'll probably be covering the events of the championship.
Really good podcast.
Yeah, I really like the visuals they have on the website, just detailing all the rules. Nice, plain, simple. It gets the point across.
Yeah, I definitely like that too, actually. Cool. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And the prizes are pretty damn good. Like, even if you're just in the top 500, or so let's say 5 mech bays, 7k MC, 3 million C-bills, 273 general skill points, colors, a whole bunch of stuff. Like, as long as you take a little bit of part in this thing, you're getting a lot. Is this per player or is it split across the group?
That I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Assuming it's top 500, my first impression was this has to be per player, because there's no way they're gonna get 500 teams for this. But honestly, I have no.
The top 500 is going to cover basically all the teams, which is why I say, as long as you sort of take part, you're getting a fairly hefty reward. Because, I see. I maybe because if you say the top 30 there, it's 1k MC. Why get less MC if you're the top 30 rather than the top 500?
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, no,
additionally getting the
plus top 500. Oh, wow, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 8k MC then. 7 mech base. So they're really trying to push this in terms of rewards. Like, this is some of the biggest rewards you ever see. Like, compared to the events.
It's kind of funny to see, like, the participation reward from the top 500 is really big, and then top 30 is just, oh, you're getting an additional 1k MC. Sure. Have something tiny on top.
Yeah.
Still, you get to pretty crazy areas when you're in the top 4 or whatever, though. You've got 12k MC plus another 7k. That's a lot of MC.
And plus 2 packs too. I mean, basically, but the thing is, though, like, even if all the mech warriors at this point, we're looking at Steam stats, maybe, I don't think there's 500 people playing Mechwarrior online right now.
The Steam stats show like average players or peak players.
Okay.
The thing is, though, obviously not everyone is up at the same time. So average players is around 500, but the peak is 766. So who knows exactly what the real number is, but let's just say there's still 1,500 or something like that, still actually playing the game.
Yeah.
And the thing, at least, if you take part, you get the top 500, 7k MC. Going by those rates, at least if you buy it when it's not on sale, that's like $30 of MC. Obviously, you should never buy MC when it's full price. You wait until it's on sale.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be worth $15 worth of money, and that's for anyone who takes part. Though whoever's still playing Mechwarrior Online has usually got a lot of the mechs and heroes and whatnot already, and that MC is, at least for me, sits around a lot.
Now, the comp play is teams, or you just jump right in and go play?
I think it's teams.
Teams? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
not
it
sure about that.
specifies earlier it's 8 versus 8 on Conquest on 5 maps that I can't quite identify.
Well, I guess if you
There are
want to
some
know, very good.
there are some interesting rules, and I guess it might be fun watching, but we're gonna see.
Like I like the stock mode only. I thought that was interesting to watch at MechCon, but they I don't think it's going to be used for this one though. So it's going to
Full
be a lot
mech
of,
lab.
yeah.
All weapons and tech may be used. All CBIL and MC equipment can be used.
Damn. 3 mechs per chassis, no duplicates. Pretty cool. I love how the artwork they did that. That's really nice. If you want to know more, you can go to Incoming Missile Podcast, and they've been talking about it. They've been really adamant about doing the comp series, and so that's kind of cool. Good podcast.
Yeah. MWO Comp Championship Series done by the community has always had relatively good rules compared to the more official stuff run by PGI, and I'm glad to see PGI supporting them. Even if I'm not much of a comp guy, the community do competitive much better than PGI do.
Yeah, true. But from what I heard, though, like I was trying to give some codes to the comp championship. They said, "Don't worry about it," because PGI is supporting them with a crap ton of codes, and so they've been kind of on the sidelines saying, "Hey, here's some codes, here's some stuff, here's some packs, and everything else for all the different people that are out there." So that's a good thing that PGI is doing that to go and help the community. Although it's kind of weird though that the community is making their own things and PGI is not actually being doing it. But I understand,
Yeah, the only annoying thing a bit is I mean, I think it was somewhat asked for by the community. I'm not sure, but the schedule is that you can only do it on like Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, Sunday, the days where there's more people around. Because they found if you could do competitive matches anytime during the week, the player numbers were so low that you could be sitting around for hours and not get a match, of course. So by restricting it to just basically weekends and the later in the week, you push all the competitive players to play just in that time, in that limited time window. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame though that you can only do those, do these things, particularly like with the event we'll be covering soon. You can only work towards it in a certain window. It's what you have to do. Make sure that everybody actually turns up at a certain time, and just say, it would be nice if we could figure everything out so that everyone could get the time zones. But in the end, everyone just has to fit within this narrow scope.
But they do have a Discord. Check it out, guys. They also have the Incoming Missile Podcast. Check them out as well. If you want to do sub to cheer during the games for Twitch TV MWO Leagues, they have that as well. If you want to go ahead and give anything, you can contact MWO Leagues. I think is on Twitter, and then they'll be able to take it from there.
All right. Next little bit to cover would just be the sales. I like this. It's not got sales like one each day. It's just between the 22nd and 28th of August. Mech Bays 50% off. Paint colors 50% off. Letter and number decals 50% off. All one-shot camos 50% off. Engines, that's a good sale always. 50% off. Premium time, I guess, if you really want. But again, a huge slew of mechs 50% off.
Yeah, they're basically taking the quote-unquote meta mechs, or at least what PGI thinks are meta mechs. Not that we have to agree with that. But yeah, a lot of good stuff on sale, so this would be a time to pick up some of those high-performing.
Whole bunch of solid mechs here, of course. Quick Draw IV4, Annihilator. I could see a fair number of these at least making some sense in comp. Though most of the comp I've been watching recently, of course, has been stock mode. So who knows how things have changed. All right, and they also did MWO Championship Series challenges. An event.
Yeah, so comp mode only. So you got to go into comp mode on those certain days. I wonder if they actually said that. Now you just jump right in though, right? Like you just jump right in, but it has to be on certain days.
Okay, so the first 3 challenges, comp mode only, is indeed only for comp. I think very much that I haven't tested it, of course, but they're giving some pretty good rewards. If you win 1 match in comp, you're getting 100 MC, 10 general skill points, and maybe you'll be part of the top 500 and get a huge
Yeah.
deposit of resources. But the rest of the event is thankfully more generalized, just 1,000 damage done any mode, and you get a bunch of C-bills. There's more damage done, more lance and formation stuff. It's the whole usual shebang, and the rewards aren't too bad. War horns, MC, or at least at the beginning, premium time. It's okay.
Yeah.
I gotta do laugh the fact that destroying enemy UAVs is in there again. So Bob's gonna fit in just a second.
I just saw that.
And also destroying enemy UAVs is one of the challenges that gives premium time.
Mm-hmm. I wish the premium time ones, as always, were actually the quickest ones to complete. That way you have more incentive to actually do the rest of it. But the premium time ones are all actually a little bit harder to get done, at least compared to like 1,000 damage. I would switch those around, for example.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier that way. You just have premium time going the whole time. Yeah. Always, I hate those. The destroy 2 enemy like UAVs. You can fight a bunch of guys. The destroy the 250 missiles, no problem, and 10 saber kills. That I think is a little bit harder to go and do than anything else, like in this whole thing actually.
Yes,
I don't like. There's 100 components destroyed, which can be quite a grind, particularly since you're only getting a million C-bills at the end of it. It's not really worth all the time invested to destroy all those components just for C-bills.
Yeah. Kill assists are easy, lance formation. Yeah, they should have changed the premium time for the teamwork, or added into the teamwork and just take out the scout and protector challenge.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place. I do like premium time given away MC, GSP in good amounts. Even good amounts of C-bills, but because all of these challenges require various different little bits and pieces here and there, it's a bit of a hassle to keep track of, and a lot of it is, of course, be done on comp, which of course requires you to probably get together a group of 8 people to be able to complete, and those are the biggest, most interesting rewards. Thankfully, though, they do give you I think it's 2 weeks in total, but at least a good amount of time. There's still, from the time of recording, 8 days to complete the challenge, championship series challenges. It's okay. I'm not that interested in comps, so I would be kind of, personally, I'm not very infused at missing out on the MC and GSP rewards, whereas the C-bills and premium time I have no need for at this point. So it's just the comp items, which I have to work really hard to get just the Warhorn at the end. So in the end, this is just a very this is one I'm not interested in at all in doing personally.
You gotta have a med kit inside your cockpit, man, and duct tape.
Yeah, I have so many cockpit items, but I only use the Warhorns.
Yeah.
It's too much damn hassle keeping track of your medkits. If you find a cockpit item you like, then you're always just having to strip it out and put it in the mechs you want or whatever. It's just, I can't be bothered with all that hassle.
Yeah, that's something they should have had a quality of life like type thing, saying which mech has certain things without going through all your mechs and taking them out like all at once, type thing. I wish they did something where you know what's inside every mech besides going to every mech and clicking it, going, okay, what's inside here, what's inside here, like what's inside here. After 270 mechs, it starts getting really annoying. Or just something else.
Something like it automatically takes it out of another mech and puts it in your one. Even though it's unfortunate you've lost it in that other mech, you just want it in the one you have it in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Quality of life improvements. Hopefully after Mech 5 goes out, they have a little bit more time to work on that. They will. Quality of life type stuff.
Oh, Bob, always optimistic.
Actually, I was thinking about that when you said that, like in the Twitter, about how like you're not as optimistic as I am. And I was gonna make a YouTube video about it, but I didn't get around to it. But it's just, I want this game to succeed. I want it to go do well, because if not, I don't want to wait. I'm gonna be dead by the time another Mechwarrior series comes out, and if it comes out, pretty much. So, and hopefully, if it does well, another company will pick it up, and PGI will be off to, doing whatever they're going to be doing, and then another company pick it up, and then take the IP and do even better with VR support or, something like that. So that's why I'm optimistic about it doing well. Want it to do well, want it to do, excellent. And, it's hard. It's really hard when, Rush really fucked up.
We'll have to wait and see. For all their faults with PGI, they do like jumping in the deep end where just out of nowhere they say, oh, hey, we built Solaris mode.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we built scouting mode. Oh, hey, we've made Mechwarrior 5. Like, they will jump into the deep end even though they don't know how to swim. And then, if they are successful enough after Mechwarrior 5, they will jump into some pool somewhere.
Yeah.
How that goes.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I guess PGI has a problem with. I mean, Solaris was a cool idea, but it just wasn't even needed.
I mean, they're trying to cater to a different market, the 1v1, 2v2 market, and they try to rebrand the game Mechwarrior Online, Solaris 7. It's still there on the website. So it was a major attempt to add something to the game and rebrand the game.
Yeah.
But in the end, the current audience they had was not really interested in that, and it's not like they really had much of a marketing budget or outreach. So it didn't draw anyone in, I really doubt, or at least very few.
But I have to admit, though, they did have a really good intro to the game, basically to the mode. Really, really nice intro. They actually made a video and sent it out, so at least they did some type of marketing. I mean, like
a little, yeah. They did some nice videos, but in the end, of course, it's just you need money, a lot of money to back it to actually get that into websites and have people see it.
Yeah,
and they just don't have that money. And in some ways as well, who knows if Solaris 7 ever would become sort of popular. I kind of doubt it. Mechwarrior Online is quite an old game. It also has, to get into Solaris, you need to actually grind a whole bunch and probably quick play to buy the mechs and equip the mechs. It's not it's not a game really built to jump into like that. It's really hard. It's got a really hard new player experience. And that's at least what I've talked about in the past, ages and ages ago, that they need to work on their new player experience, ease people into the game a lot better, work on things just like the trial mechs, rather than entire new modes like Solaris 7.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
okay.
Speaking of trial mechs, let's move on to the patch notes, because we've got new trial mechs apparently.
Okay, so we're done with the patch notes, so what's next? Oh boy. Okay, they did some patch notes, which they probably have one or two people working on Mechwarrior Line, and one of the things they did pledging loyalty to a faction, which I always had a big iffy about, or big a fit about, is that the faction changes when you change and everything. It doesn't reflect you as they say, like, I'm Lao. It doesn't have some type of ownership as like you were Lao, right? So when you play matches right now, before the patch notes came out, it was just you're just a black thing, like a black box. And now, if you say you're Davion or want to be Davion, you're automatically Davion for, like, even if the faction warfare changes from Davion to, say, clan versus clan, or Standard versus Clan Wolf or something, you now have a Davion symbol constantly, and that kind of has some ownership as into a. I mean, it's in my own mind. Don't get me wrong. It's in my own mind that basically some type of like ownership, because I mean, long ago, that ownership into factions really pretty much went away when they actually made it so it's only clan versus like in a sphere. But at least it's something. It's a positive. They did something good, so I have to give them props for that.
This is the much vaulted improvements to faction play.
Yeah.
Slowly, we're bringing back features we kind of removed.
Exactly.
It's going to become the most popular mode again, guys, after we unfuck it.
Oh, God.
Well, to their credit, they are technically adding new stuff.
Yep.
Or at least they are claiming they're gonna add new stuff, with the individual faction role leaderboards coming in a future update. Honestly, does anyone really care about faction play stats at this point?
I mean, there are a couple people that play.
I only played scouting, and they kind of removed it.
Yeah, and I stopped actually faction play once they removed like IanDresarie versus IanDresarie, where you actually had some ownership, and now it's just I'm clan one side versus the other side, and that's it. So that's when I really stopped faction play, and then I just did scouting mode with you guys, and that's about it.
Yep.
But then they took
and
it
now
out.
we can't do scouting.
Yeah, now we can't do scouting, so it's like I don't have any reason why to play anymore.
In some ways, though, whilst I'm sad Scouting's disappeared, it was an extra bucket. You know,
Yeah.
it split the player buzz even more, and it was populated well enough though when there were events and things going on where you could grind quite efficiently in Scouting. But it is what it is. Now, part of the patch notes, sure, there's the faction loyalty pledging, leaderboards, I guess, but it's all fairly tertiary. At the very bottom, though, bugs and fixes, they actually, after months, have fiddled with the center torso hitboxes of the Rifleman 2C and the Marauder 2.
Yeah, Pseudo and BrioS were talking about that on Twitter, and they love it. I mean, like, Pseudo is so happy about the Rifleman 2C, he can actually use it again, so that's really cool. That's actually a bonus as well. They did a good job on that.
Yeah, both of those mechs have had problems for quite some time, and people were expecting them to be patched immediately, the month after at least, or something like that. But no, they've been suffering, struggling away with these huge issues, and only now finally they've been fixed. Like the Marauder 2, if you knew about just shooting that dorsal fin, and it would always count as CT, it was easy to call out all the time. It was hilarious how you control most Marauder 2s, unless it was the missile one, which was also nerfed into the ground before it had any chance to spread its wings. Yeah, though funnily enough, at least they had to issue a hotfix, which apparently I think the Marauder 2, the central dorsal cannon, if it was like there was some issue with it. Like their phrasing is a bit confusing, and I'm not sure what it exactly is trying to say. Fix an issue where the new hitbox changes in the Marauder 2 dorsal cannons were not affected by ballistic weapons.
That's kind of
So,
bizarre.
I mean, enemy DACA still hit the enemy center torso, or are you talking about the center dorsal cannon being a ballistic mount and still counting as a center torso hitbox?
Well, the whole thing is, though, like, isn't the DACA that big ass ball that it shoots? No matter what size it is. I mean, can you really target that fin?
Well, yeah, so DACA, when you fire a ballistic weapon at that central dorsal fin, it creates a projectile, which then takes a certain amount of time to travel to hit the target. So it's all just a matter of the projectile correctly registering that it hits the dorsal fin and the dorsal fin applying damage to the correct component.
Yeah.
It seems odd to me that a projectile like a ballistic shell would have issues, whereas a projectile like the missile, a missile from a missile launcher wouldn't have that issue. Yeah, so their phrasing is a little weird, but the most literal interpretation is just simply you were firing Dakar at the center torso, and it still was hitting center torso, or it's hitting that dorsal fin. You're aiming at the dorsal fin, and it counted the center torso. But now it has been fixed, which just means that, of course, dorsal fin, depending on the hitboxes, you can still shoot at it and easily take out that side torso. But usually if you're at the side, you can see their side torso anyway.
Yeah. How about muting a player's VoIP and text channels is now persistent for the current play session until the game client's closed? I thought it was for that anyways, but I don't mute a lot of people, so I guess that's something new that they just put in. So
I don't mute a lot of people, but yeah, with at least a smaller player base, if there's one really noisy, annoying person you muted them and you went into the next match and you joined up with them again and they were being noisy, you had to mute them again, I guess. But I honestly haven't ever had that problem, but at least finally they another little quality of life improvement for those who like muting. Though it is annoying, though, you have to still hear the guy tomorrow when it's just you and him playing the game still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, another thing, a big reason I think they rushed out the hotfix, though, to conclude, this month, August's patching. The competitive mode launched, I think, with stock mode only on. So everyone's trying to take part in competitive, and they suddenly find that their, Hellbringer's running stock armor or whatever. And it's made of freaking paper. It's got LRM medium lasers and a couple of machine guns strapped to it. And they're just like, what the hell is this? So they had to fix that quickly, and this time PGI did.
It's so hard to be optimistic sometimes. It really is. It really is hard to be optimistic with stuff going on that, how you look at things. And it's like, it's like the death by 1,000 needles, basically, of my optimism. Each time something happens, I hit an eye with a needle.
It is funny to think at least how few things they had to do, and they still mucked it up somehow. When we look at these patch notes, there are so few things to cover,
Yeah.
and yet they still had to rash out a hotfix. Though, to be fair to PGI somewhat, they have, let's just say a studio of 30, 29 are working on Mechwarrior 5, and one person
Yeah.
is furiously trying to work on Mechwarrior Online and keep the lights on.
I mean, that's why I give them a lot of credit, a lot of rope.
Leeway.
Yeah, leeway, that kind of thing. That's why I give them a lot of that, because they only have a certain amount of people. And, like, I had friends that worked for, like, LucasArts and all that kind of stuff, and they told me stories. It's like, shit happens, man. Stuff happens, it just goes on, and there's a lot of politics involved, and they're bigger companies, but it's just that's why I give them a lot of leeway of just doing things because they're a small company. But it's hard. It's very hard sometimes. Okay, so okay, enough of that.
All right, so that was this week's events. At least PGI helping the competitive scene out. That's nice. Don't really care much for the event. The patch notes are as barren as they were last month.
Yep.
It's a bit sad to see. Well, right. Last week, since we are doing the show bi-weekly, there was which one shall we start with? The Salty Stale?
Yeah, Salty Stale.
Start with the event because the sale is nice. Twins over to the next.
Okay, the event sounds good. It's already over though.
Well, yeah, but just our impressions on it or anything like that.
I didn't play it either, but looking at the rewards, it seems interesting enough. It was a fairly diverse event. A couple challenges that were really annoying, couple challenges that were quite doable. The usual PGI mix, I guess.
Well,
I like this because it is just simply one or maybe two conditions for each one. They're giving away plenty of MC, C-bills. It's all fairly simple enough.
I mean, at least they're giving more than one GSP, so that's a good thing. So it's only 5. So I mean, that's better.
they did listen to the community on that.
Yeah. The last one is Zero Chill, which is 5 solo kills, 500 match score, and 1 headshot. The headshot's one of the hardest thing I've noticed a lot of people have been talking on Twitter about. And like we always say, jump in Solaris, just tilt your head down, and then find a friend and have him tilt his head down, and you got your headshot. We're not condoning it, but that's how a lot of people do. That's what I heard during the grapevine on the HPG. C-bills, a lot of C-bills. The 100 MC for the Salt Struggle is really cool. And then, 100 MC like rewards for each different one is really cool. So that's 400 that you can get, pretty much automatically, because these are really easy ones to go and do. So it's not bad, like if you did them.
It can be kind of annoying. 2 victories in each weight class. It's a total of 8 victories, and sometimes with random chance, you have to play at least 16 matches on average. Let's just say, and sometimes even more than that.
Okay, so that was the summer chill event. It was really chilly, and let's go to the Salty Sale. I thought it was interesting that they actually called it the Salty Sale for a simple reason that there was a lot of salt from Mechwarrior 5. And so I thought that was kind of like a jab that PGI did. At least what I'm thinking.
Most certainly was. So the sale itself was kind of boring, just a bunch of salt mechs being on sale. But the timing they put it out on and the name they gave it, the Salty Sale, immediately after all the Mechwarrior 5 salt or epic. I mean, I wouldn't say it was funny because it was more sad than anything else, but at least someone on PGI still has humor left. So, good for them for staying positive, I guess.
I do like the pun.
Yeah, the pun is pretty good, and the picture's pretty good. I mean,
it was. Yeah, the pun was pretty cool. So it's on. It's actually over. It was over on the 21st. Yeah. So yeah. Salty Sale.
Yes. But the main reason we saved the Salty Sale as the last Mechwarrior Online news is because it links nicely into all of the Mechwarrior 5 salt, and that's gonna be our next topic. So, Mechwarrior 5 can now be pre-ordered on Epic, and a bunch of stuff happened, and let's talk about it.
Well, first let's just talk about it on the storefront. It's not at the very front, at the very get-go. It's actually you have to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is right below Borderlands 3, so it is given a fairly nice little spot there. I'm looking at the storefront though. It's funny. first things first, when you click through onto it, it's got 4 videos, and the inbuilt video player through Epic, it never plays sound for me. So you just got silent mechs running around as the first video that people see when they come to the thing. And the other 3 videos that they put up are all MechCon trailer videos from previous years, which all just doesn't really look that good, honestly. At least since that's the main thing that people get to tell what your game is actually about before they go past all the text and finally get to the screenshots. And yeah, old videos like the very first video back in 2016 in MechCon, when they were just trying to show off their vision for the game, is really not good when you're actually offering it up for pre-orders on like a storefront like Epic Games.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like with the last 2 videos that I made, doing promos for Mech5, I'm running out of footage. I'm literally running out of footage out of the 4 or 5 mech videos that they actually made for the game. So it's like I'm sitting there going, hopefully they make something else that I can take and build something out of it. But yeah, I still don't know anything about the freaking game. I don't, basically all I know is what I played at MechCon. And, it says you have Merc Life. Well, let me see some videos on this. Let me see some videos about how that works. I was watching a Star Wars special about how they marketed like Star Wars back in the day, and they actually told people about Star Wars, about the story and stuff like that, and got fans into the game or into the movie. And literally, I mean, who knows anything about this game? I don't know. I don't know anything. Literally, I don't know anything about the story. All I know is about some Merc unit, but that's about it. There's you could control your Merc guys. That's about it. I want to see some footage. I want to see some little bit of gameplay, like 10 minutes of gameplay of you starting a mission, like something like that of what they have so far. Some marketing, some actually, hey guys, this is what this is. There's nothing, and that's what's really, really concerning, especially on the and you're talking about the sound on the embedded player. That's simple stuff. That's basically that's like PGI going, hey, like Epic, I know you threw money our way, but the front page doesn't have sound for that video. Can we just take it out and put a YouTube video, there as well? Is that okay?
Well, they could choose to put a YouTube video, but I think I need to cross-reference this. But I think the video, that first one without sound they're playing, is the one they have playing in the background of their website, the Mechwarrior 5 website.
Yeah.
Because that one isn't with sound, I don't think it has sound to it at all. So even if there was sound for the inbuilt player, which there isn't, at least when I look at other games with the inbuilt player on the Epic Store, it doesn't. I can't get sound, and I am clicking the unmute button, people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But the thing is,
that's all they've got for the most recent thing, though. Yeah, to reaffirm your point, though. Yeah, that is all they have as most recently is a little background looping video to show off their game, and I think part of it is because they accidentally updated their FAQ and had to let people know about the Epic Store exclusivity. My guess is they probably rushed to just get it on the storefront. They had to release it early.
Well, yeah. Plus, also too, you can't click the pictures to make them wallpapers. That's what a lot of people like to do for different games. I know when BattleTech came out from Harebrained Schemes, it's like, oh yeah, click this picture. It's now my wallpaper. It looks really cool. I can't click the pictures. I can't. There's no freaking like hype. There's no nothing. And every time they do put something up, everyone shits on it because they do a crappy job on the marketing.
Well, let's keep at that point for a quick second. When Battletech came out by HBS made a point to post all of their amazing art as soon as they had it in full resolution. And for Mechwarrior 5, even if you were to go on the website and download those pictures on the website, besides the fact they're not all that great, they're not even on full desktop resolution, so you can't even take those as wallpapers. And simple stuff like that is things I would expect them to do really early.
I mean, yeah, take a page from Harebrained Schemes. They know what to do. Sketch artists. Like I've been talking about Star Wars, the online PC game that came out for 2 years. Every single month was something just dramatic. It's like, oh, here's Tatooine. This looks really cool. Here's this. They did something to hype it, to keep people engaged, to keep the community up there. And I'm just it's those needles that I keep on talking about. But it's $49.99, so it's kind of cool. So it's only it's $10 less than a normal AAA title, and you get the expanded edition, or the deluxe edition, which has some extra digital stuff. Oh, a 4K desktop pack. Oh, that's interesting. For $59.99.
They're already doing the DLC stuff where you have to buy your wallpaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took a page from Epic and Ubisoft there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry for interrupting you, but I just noticed we're corrupting Bob. He's getting pessimistic.
No, man. Every time I'm making videos, I'm sitting here going, I have no more footage. Please get some footage. And like, it's.
Yeah, we've talked about this last podcast and the one before it, at least at Mechwarrior 5. They're saying, oh yeah, we're going to come out with a much better game, but all we've gotten are these kind of underwhelming screenshots and AMAs. And from a publicity standpoint, it's just not.
It's a nightmare.
It like even the tabletop guys with their promotional video, you could put that up on a pre-order page and it would still probably work well enough. But there's just nothing like that. And yeah, I just sort of, there's nothing like, yeah, there's two avenues, at least for this front video they should have done, which is obviously one, you record like a gameplay slice, it's all edited together and it really just sells the game and all the things you can do. The other one is you have family time with Russ. Russ sits down and just plays the game for a bit. It's going to be kind of rough around the edges, but it's better than nothing, which is almost what they've got.
Or best bet is basically use a kid to go play the game that just saw this game going, oh my god, this is so cool, that kind of thing. That'd be more marketing like aspect that PGA can do, but they're hiding in caves like the Taliban in like Afghanistan, like right now they're not actually doing anything, and that's what kind of pisses me off about this whole situation. Yeah, you guys are corrupting me, damn it. But the whole thing is too that I asked Russ, like, dude, what's the NDA on streaming? Can we do this? Can we put out videos before, during the beta? What can we do, man? Still nothing.
Well, didn't he block you?
He banned, basically he banned me, but then,
He crossed us on Twitter and he unblocked you.
He unblocked me.
Because all you were asking about was, of course, whether you were allowed to stream the beta.
Yeah, exactly.
Good thing to know.
Yeah, I want to know this stuff, I want to know more about the damn game. Tell me, man. And so I got blocked. And then unblocked, though, like a really good community, so, it worked out good.
Yeah, so at least for the most part, as Russ has said, they got an infusion of cash and they'll be able to do make the game better, and they'll be able to actually do a proper marketing campaign for the last month or so, at least with the extra cash they've gotten. So if you have a month worth of proper marketing, release the game for pre-order a month away from release. Don't release it half-baked like this, because this is your limited time on the front. We went Epic Game exclusive. His prime reason he talked about was, of course, exposure.
Yeah.
And you want to maximize that exposure by presenting yourself as good as possible in that month window that Epic has helped giving you.
But
while we're on the topic of exposure, real quick, one of the main points was made during the first AMA was the fact that on the Epic Games Store, MWO5 is going to sit on the front page for at least 2 months. That was his impression of it. And looking at the storefront right now on the Epic launcher, I even have to scroll. So even directly at the start of the pre-order, MWO5 is not sitting at the front page. It's hidden on scrolling down below. So the visibility argument seems kind of wasted at this point.
Yeah, but Epic only has like 6 games, so I mean, exposure is going to be a little bit better than what it is on Steam.
But that's the main thing. Was like, okay, on Steam, MWO5 is going to sit on the front page for, let's say, a couple of days, and then it's going to be hidden behind other games. If I look at the Epic Store right now, the game is already hidden, even though it just got its pre-order.
Yeah,
like it's not immediately visible the way it was described it to.
Well, it's on the second page for when I'm scrolling down.
Yeah, it's on the second page, but it's not on the first, and was specifically talking about the game being on the first page for weeks to come, and I'm honestly quite disappointed that he lied even at that.
Well, you know,
Well, he can't. It's what they may have promised him, but then they put him on the second page, and what can he do then? Who knows if that's a lie exactly? But yeah, at least he had the expectations that he sold to everyone, and those expectations fell flat.
And also, since we're on the visibility, one minor point I noticed on Twitter. Epic obviously has their own Twitter accounts where they tweet out whatever games come to the Epic Store. And, well, let's just say the German Twitter for Epic Games Store has not tweeted out Mechwarrior 5 at all, even though Mechwarrior 5 is being localized to German. And they're tweeting out small indie games that come to the Epic Store, but they're not tweeting out Mechwarrior 5. So that should give you an impression how much Epic values this game.
That's not good. It's not looking good. It's another needle.
Yeah, the thing we've been enjoying the most, of course, is a video released by Mr. Grimm, talking about the main Epic Store account. I think, like at least English-speaking audiences, and the people's reactions to their announcement of Mechwarrior 5's pre-order.
Oh, it's funny. I mean, just 1 ounce of research. I mean, one little bit of click of research would have actually made it. So they're not. These mechs are not in Fortnite. You have mechs in Fortnite that came out.
Well, before you dive too deep into it, let's quickly tell what's happened.
Okay,
because I'm assuming most people won't read the Epic post. So basically, Epic Games Store tweeted the availability of Mechwarrior 5, and of course, all of the Fortnite kiddies answered. And well, Fortnite recently added mechs to their game for the last season, which were really ill received. Initially, we were kind of happy about it, like, okay, that's potential cross-promotion between Fortnite and Mechwarrior 5. Then the mechs fell flat on their face for Fortnite. No one liked them. And now the Fortnite player are going to the Mechwarrior 5 tweet and basically saying stuff like, hey, since the mechs get their own game now, can you remove them from Fortnite? And that's basically most of the responses to this.
Yeah, so indeed, it's like the start of this month. They released the Brood in Fortnite. It was so badly received. This is again not the time to release Mechwarrior 5 for pre-order. But yeah, that means they get part of all the backlash because I think the Mechwarrior 5 announcement was done before, or at least very close to the time that the mechs in Fortnite were when they were nerfed into the ground. So Fortnite people have had about 2 or 3 weeks of suffering with mechs, and then they say, "Hey, we're bringing out a mech game," and they say, "Get rid of the mechs." We don't. Good, you have a mech game. Get rid of the mechs in Fortnite, please. And they finally have nerfed the mechs quite a bit into the ground, at least from what I can tell. I'm not too much into Fortnite.
Yeah, I have a friend in Fortnite, and he's just a friend that I work with, and he's just not happy about the mechs at all. And mass majority of people are not happy with the mechs at all, like in Fortnite as well. So basically, the ounce research doesn't happen, and then they think Mechwarrior 5 is the expansion to Fortnite. But it's been around for 40 years or 35 years, and I don't know.
I'm not sure if they think it's an expansion. I just think
they think it's expansion.
Some might.
This is Fortnite, like, isn't it?
Jokingly.
Yeah.
Well, they might be talking about it jokingly. It's hard about the thing.
Yes, some of them. But then again, looking at the average age of the Fortnite player, which admittedly is way too low, I'm honestly quite certain some of those people do mean what they write and have no idea and haven't bothered to actually click on the link and see what kind of game they're talking about.
Well, just another good example of, Epic exclusivity working out. The Fortnite kids really don't like mechs, so let's make the mech game exclusive to the place where they don't like mechs.
And it gets even worse if you look at the tweet and see the responses where all of those Battletech fans are trying to defend Mechwarrior 5 in whatever way they can, and then they're just getting put down by the Fortnite kiddies. It's kind of sad.
Let's end off with a good note, right? End off with a good note, and we're gonna go to Battletech Kickstarter. Holy crap, Azzoli! 2.5 million. Damn, that is crazy. That is amazing. Like, what do you guys think about this? Well,
it's a number.
Good. Yeah, it's a number. Well, I know it's a number.
It's probably a bigger number than I am ever going to have on my account, so I guess it's a really big number.
They did a good job. I have to admit, these guys did an amazing job on everything you can purchase. The extra digital stuff, which has come inside your email box, so definitely check them out if you guys can. I got the first novels and some other things that I'll be checking out pretty soon. For all the digital content, they're actually pumping that out as well. And the new stuff. Have you heard anything about the mailing?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. But since you were talking about the digital rewards, I just want to slightly go back to a point on the very first thing Catalyst actually did for the Kickstarter is they made a Dropbox links available where all of the marketing material was. So you, as a fan of the Kickstarter, could just go out and repost those original marketing pictures in their original quality. And it's just simple stuff like that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But going back to mailing, yes, there was an update on shipping. Apparently, shipping is currently planned to be fulfilled in 2 waves. The first one is going to be the original fulfillment date they gave us, which would be March 2020. And that first wave probably is going to be the Clan Invasion box set and the first 2 lance packs. And all of the other stuff is going to come later on. But again, we haven't gotten that kind of detail. That's just my assumption. The main thing is there is going to be waves for shipping. It's only going to be 2 waves, and Catalyst is very much aware that shipping is really expensive and they're trying to optimize shipping. For example, if you take a look at some of the rewards, they've trimmed some of the rewards level, took out the items with the big volume to make shipping less expensive. And if you really want those items, you get the credit and put them back in, stuff like that. So they are paying attention to what people say and they are trying to optimize the shipping thing. And I guess speaking of optimizing stuff, the late backing is now available. On the top of the Kickstarter page, there's a button to become a late backer where you can basically do the same thing you could do in Kickstarter. Select the level, select the amount of money you put in. And at some point, very soon, you're all going to get an email where you can select what you actually want to buy with the money you pledged.
I think I'm going to get the full Kerensky. There's 2 left.
Yes, it's only 2 left for the full Kerensky. Guys, get it while it's still available.
I know.
No, honestly. What's your budget?
If I had the money, I'll actually get that. If I was making, $5,000 a month or something like that, it's like, it's a month of work. Why not? Just go ahead and get it. But yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah. I'll say what I sort of said a little bit about the first time we covered it, though. It is a very complicated Kickstarter. So many extra stretch goals, so many bits and pieces they're offering to sell extra. So they've got big amount of cash, but that cash, of course, is going to be a lot of it is actually for models, for this, that, and the other, and there's a lot of things to deliver on. Like this is going to be
a logistical nightmare.
Logistical nightmare. So. There's you can always sort of expect there's an inherent risk to investing things in Kickstarter. It's not as secure as buying something on like on Amazon or somewhere else. There's not so much consumer protection when you're just backing things like on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But on a positive note, there is reason to be optimistic. Their logistical fulfillment center is apparently something that many other Kickstarter projects for physical stuff have used with great success. So assuming everything goes to plan, it should be quite good.
I mean, I trust them. Basically, like I trust Harebrained Schemes to actually provide a good product, and I trust Catalyst Games to provide a good product. Was it what?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just assumed you were mixing up the names.
No.
That's Bob isn't as cynical as us yet. We just expect the worst from everyone.
I'm optimistic normally until I get really, really put down.
Well, I'm actually super optimistic about the Kickstarter as well. It's just certain other companies that have lost my trust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with Catalyst Games, they took a while to get out like the starter box set, the maps and things like that. But at least this isn't their first rodeo. If this was the first time they're trying to set up a Kickstarter this complicated, there would be some very serious question marks. But if they actually have had some experience delivering these kinds of box sets and written material, everything, all these bits and pieces, particularly simple things like dice and whatnot, I'm not seeing. It's just it's going to be a challenge. I think if whoever has to manage their poor database is going to have a quite a fun time.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
It's gonna be. As I said during the early podcast, I just want to know the size of the database at the end of this.
I know.
Yes.
It's gonna be epic.
Yeah, and one thing, of course, to talk about. Just talking about the $2.5 billion dollars raised. That reaches all the reach goals, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. They like even the bragging rights stretch goal, which was kind of symbolic, got reached, and I forgot. But I think the Kickstarter is number 87 or something like that on the Global Hall of Fame for Kickstarter.
It's good. I mean, they do a good job.
There we go. It's the 43rd overall in games category, 30th in tabletop, and 83rd in highest Kickstarter project ever. So
Wow.
it's pretty damn high up there. I was surprised by that.
And what was the top one?
Okay.
So back to your question. The highest funded project ever was the Pebble Time Smart, and the highest funded game was something called Kingdom Death Monster 1.5, which I have no idea what it is.
Wow, a Pebble smartwatch. Pebble Time? What the hell is that?
I have absolutely no idea, but I was honestly surprised to see those numbers. I would have expected to see some bigger numbers on Kickstarter. But hey,
Well, 20 million is a lot,
the
though.
Clan Invasion made the Hall of Fame, so that's
It's just there's a lot of people on the internet. Imagine if you got something like Gundam style number of people backing a single project. Anyway, yeah. So the Battletech Kickstarter, I think we covered most of that. It's done very well, and they have a long road ahead of them.
Logistical.
And remember,
Yeah.
if you weren't able to back so far, you still have the chance to become a late backer and still get your rewards on time for everyone else.
Yep. I'll leave links down below.
All right, and that's about it for episode 97 of the First Circuit podcast.
Yay.
Goodbye, people.
Goodbye, people.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.